on but forgot to actually plug the headset in. That's how I roll. Okay, guys, so here we are. This is the Conversations with Spirit Gallery for August the 9th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Giving everyone a few minutes to get into the live feed, and I'm going to pull up the group on my Facebook on my computer, so you can communicate with me either way. You can communicate with me through the Facebook, through the live feed that you're watching right now, or you can communicate with me by posting on the questions thread on it. I saw that I should have made that more clear. It's easier if you put your questions on one thread. So the thread where I wrote post 1 or 2 questions for Spirit here, and the colon, and that's really where we should put those questions. If they're all there, it's less likely that I miss anybody. If they're all over the place, kind of like they are, you'll have to keep me on point. You'll have to not let me forget or miss somebody. So if you would, if you're willing, and you have 2 devices, if you don't have 2 devices, don't worry about it. But if you have 2 devices going, go in and copy and paste your questions and put them on the thread that says post 1 or 2 questions for Spirit here. And if you don't worry about it. It'll just be a little more going back and forth, and as long as we stay real thorough, then we're good. Okay, so there are new people in here that have not been in a gallery before, so welcome. Glad you're here, and glad you're part of the group. I always tell people at the beginning, you know, this event should be just like we were all sitting in a room together, you know. So feel free, if something resonates for you, and even if it's not your message, feel free to say so. If you listen to someone's story and you listen to someone's message and it touches you, feel free to say so. Go in and comment on that. The Facebook event is private. Nobody but us will ever see it. And I think Facebook then makes it disappear anyway. Now the video, what I will do is pull it off the event and put it on YouTube. And then my voice will be the only voice heard, and I only use first name, so no one would ever know that's your message unless you told them. And I don't put it on you can't search and find it. You really kind of have to have me give you a link. So I think these events are better when we're just, we pretend that we're all sitting in the living room together, and we're just talking with each other and supporting each other. And I think that's really how they work best, honestly. I think it needs to feel small, it needs to feel intimate, and I know we're doing it via internet, but that doesn't mean it still can't be very, very supportive and lots of coming together. The reason why I started doing these over the internet was two reasons. First was kind of a fluke thing. I'd been doing my daily videos anyway, and then I started doing messages channeled out on the daily videos, and then I kept wanting to do a gallery. In the past, I've rented out a restaurant, and I've done a gallery there. I rented out catering space, and I rented out a space there. And so I did that, but the problem was that your tickets had to get really expensive because you're paying for the space. We can do tickets for $25 here so that it makes it really affordable for you, and I'm not having to worry about breaking even on a space rental. So that's how this kind of came together. So I like this. It works real well. So we're going to pretend like we're all in a living room together, just sitting around, having a glass of wine if that's what you want, if not, having water with lemon or whatever you drink, and just sharing spirit messages together. Okay? Feel free to make this a conversation, ask questions. Now, what I will say is we're limited on time, so really no more than 2. I mean, if your questions are really short, 3, but most of the time they're not really short. Most of the time they're really involved, so 1 to 2 is a pretty good number. What happens is, we'll have 1 or 2 that take up a lot of time, and then someone else's time kind of gets cut. So I try to make it as fair and as equal as we can. but the more specific question you ask, the better. Just because in this type of setup, I just got to mow through and go boom, 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 boom. And in a private session, I don't have to. I can just take my time and swim along and pick this up for you and pick this up for you and pick this up for you. And know that we have, 1 to 2 hours to get it done. And we just don't have that now. So, okay. Let's see. Let me find the thread here. It appears that we have lots of postings. Okay, so if by chance I miss someone or I call you a name that you do not prefer, again, I just use first names. So if I call you a name that you do not prefer, just let me know and we'll correct the name. I typically go down the list that I have, the ticket list I have printed here, and I go down that list. If you say to me, I have to get up at 4:30 or even 5:30 in the morning, can you go ahead and bump me to the top? Just let me know and I'll do that for you. Okay, I'll just bump you to the top of the list. So, and I will be for the first several minutes. I'm really just giving people a chance to get in the group, to get in the live feed. We're still short a couple people, so because I can see how many people are in. So the first several minutes, I'm just kind of giving people time to get in here. Okay, Robin, are you in here? If you're in here, pop in and just say yes or I'm here or something like that, because I just now saw your Facebook message. Okay, I put my... Okay, Shani, I see yours too. Okay, I see your Facebook message too. All right, and I think that's all the questions I have relating to the event. Okay, Robin, have you popped in here yet? Are you in here? I can't see a list of... Okay, I see Gina's here. Helen, let me scroll up. Jana, Kate... Amy. Oh, Robin, I see you now. Okay. Okay, awesome. All right. And if you get kicked out, sometimes that happens. Of course, it's better if you're using home Wi-Fi. But if you get kicked out, just come back in. I'm not going to read for you with you not in the room, so that's the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that you're here. And then if, you can't get all of it, you'll be able to, it'll be posted in the event on Facebook for a few days. You can go back and watch it. And then hopefully after a few days, I'll have it pulled off Facebook and uploaded to YouTube. Okay, let's get started, guys. All right. Gina is the first name I have. So let me find Gina's questions here. Okay. I'm open to any message from Spirit. And if KB can be reached, I want her to know that we miss her like crazy during birthday season, but we're still having fun. And Daphne is helping to scatter KB's ashes. It's almost become a community event. Aw, how awesome that is. Let me scroll real quick and make sure you don't have any other... that you didn't post something else too. I should have made that real obvious where to post your questions, and then I wouldn't have to do so much scrolling. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so Gina, it's interesting. The first thing I get, from Spirit from you is just how many amazing lifetimes you've had that have evolved around, particularly being Catholic. That's just coming across as a huge part of, hit mute on that computer, such a huge part of your Akashic records. And I know that's not really what you asked, but it's coming through loud and clear, so I'm going to offer it up anyway. How many lifetimes you've had where you've been Catholic and where Catholicism has been such a very important part of your life. I would like to recommend that you do some research on different saints and see which ones speak to you, because you have a strong connection to at least two, maybe a couple more saints. Robin, we're channeling now. You're posting on the video. Can you see it? Let me go in. Yeah, the video started. I'm channeling now. So let me know if you can see it. You're posting on the video. So maybe just click on it. Of course, if you're not watching it, that does you no good, right? Could someone post on there to tell her, yes, it started, and just click on it? Okay, so that Catholic energy, that energy of Catholicism, Gina, comes so strong across your Akashic records and across your energy field. I think that you should research a few saints and see who speaks to you, see who calls to you. I also really do think that you have some type of connection to Joan of Arc. I see that coming through, really clearly too. So maybe you lived at the same time, or maybe, you lived after her and you felt a kinship to her and a calling to her. But I see Catholicism really heavy in your Akashic records, and I see a strong connection to Joan of Arc as well. So just getting those two things out of the way. Okay, so let's talk about Karen a little bit. Karen, she says to tell you she's not missed any of the fun at all. So, it's like she's going, I know, I know, I've been there. So while you guys are having all this fun during birthday season and doing all this, she's over here like, yeah, I know, because I'm there too. So she's not really feeling like she's missed out on anything, or that she's missed out on any of the festivities. I mean, she's totally like rocking it from her perspective. And so, she likes the idea of her spreading her ashes to become a community event. She's also saying, okay, she really likes the idea of seeing what's left of her physical body become, something else. So, seeing whether that is becoming a tree or becoming a flower, or becoming, part of water. She likes that idea. It kind of makes her feel like she lives forever. She likes that idea a lot. She says that she doesn't in a way she knows it too, but it's like, in a way she's like, I don't understand how people can be sad because we're having so much fun. We're having so much fun celebrating life. She is very, very, very active in trying to communicate with her tribe. So her tribe is she's all over that. She is constantly trying to send messages through. She likes to, well, first of all, she just likes to speak directly. She likes that a lot, but if that doesn't get through, then she likes to do the other things. Anything, especially birds and feathers. She just likes to throw you a handful of feathers and send birds to everyone that she loves so deeply. But the person I'm seeing, Gina, what was her career? Was she, some type of help, like a nurse or a servant in some capacity where she helps serve? Because she's got servant's energy. And whenever I see servant energy, I always think nurse or teacher or something like that. What was her profession or her career? And of course, sometimes we don't necessarily live up to that, but that's the kind of energy she has. She has servant energy. She did a lot of art related things in a bookkeeper. Okay, well, that's a little servant like too. She has servant's energy. So servant's energy is one that, boy, they leave a mark, because they're always helping others. They're always serving others, and boy, they leave a mark. And she did too. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is more who she is. The bookkeeper might have paid the bills, but more the curated exhibits of art or worked with people to make art. Yes, that's the servant. That's what I'm looking for. She did. She left she left her mark on humanity, really. And she has a servant's energy. She has that kind of servant's heart. And, her transition to spirit was really easy, because she was just such an earth angel that it made it very, very easy. Yeah. She actually, bookkeeper, like she was their mother. Scroll up real quick. Yeah, I can totally say she's a caretaker. Yeah, she has strong servant's energy. Anyway, her transition to spirit was easy. She is still serving, honestly. She's still serving in a lot of ways. She really likes, okay, so someone's walking down the street, and the clouds, the sun create a shadow and a reflection of something magnificent that's only there momentarily. She says, that's me. So let's say you're walking down the street and very suddenly you see like this reflection of something that looks like a mermaid, right? But it was only there for a fraction of a second, but it was so clear. She's like, that's me. I can do that. So she's really into giving very magical signs of the world around her. She likes to really dazzle that way. Any rainbow, like a reflection of a rainbow off a prism, that's her. I would look for those kind of things for her. But she is very So by the way, she's very celebrated in heaven. When she got there, she was very celebrated. Her spirit says her laugh was infectious. That people love to hear her laugh, and they love to share her laughter. So even her laugh is infectious in spirit, and they pull all kinds of people and energies in to help her. You said that she liked to help people with art. Did she like to help people with developmental disabilities? Because I see those are the people that she's spending time with in heaven. People, who had developmental disabilities on earth and who need a little extra patience and a little extra care. And that's who I see her spending a lot of her time with in spirit, are people who need, like they need an earth angel, and they need someone with extra time and compassion, and yes, art with people with developmental disabilities. Yeah, she's still doing that. She's still doing that. Yeah, that's the nurse energy I think I was seeing too, working with people with disabilities, was the nurse energy. But it's art. It's fantastic. She's still helping. I see one girl in particular that she's helping in heaven, and this girl has like blonde shoulder length hair, and she's got like those really 80s style bangs straight across that go really, really wide. And the girl looks to me like she probably had Down syndrome when she was on earth, and she's got these really thick glasses on, and your friend is just helping her heal and paint through art and through making rainbows on things, and this girl's just laughing. She's just laughing and laughing, and that's what your friend does. That's what she brings to the table. Yeah. Great earth angel friend you have there, by the way. Fantastic earth angel friend you have there. She clearly touched a lot of lives, and clearly is still touching a lot of lives in spirit, helping people even heal once they're in heaven. I don't think it gets better than that. She loves it all of it. I mean, everything that everyone's doing to remember her, to keep her memories alive. She loves it all. She loves everything that's being done. And, she's just grateful. She expresses a lot of gratitude. She's very grateful for everything that's being done. Very happy and very peaceful. So you say it's a community event, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's a community event on both sides of the veil, on earth and in heaven, because that's how many lives she continues to touch. Okay, friend, you need to research saints, okay? Just pick a couple, probably go with more female ones because you have that Joan of Arc connection. Research Catholic saints. There's one in particular, and I'm just not getting the name. It's driving me crazy. Somewhere I have an article about her, and I'll have to see if I can find it, and I'll send it to you if I can find it. But research Catholic saints, okay? Oh, thank you. I have a book of saints that belong to Karen. I'm done. That's it. I'm out. That's like that drop mic moment. Yeah, I'm out. That's good. So she's the one pushing the saints on you then. Spirit and Karen, because I just keep seeing Catholic saints everywhere. So crack open that book and read and see who you feel a connection to. There's one in particular that I think you have the strongest connection to, and I'm just not pulling out her name right now. And it's kind of making me crazy that I cannot remember her name. But celebrate that book and celebrate your friend, okay? And that's absolutely how it is. All right, well, thank you very much. Okay. That one was awesome. I totally love that reading. I totally love this saint. My pencil's not having lead. I'll tell you, whenever you get a really good snag as a medium, it's awesome, and was it 3 galleries ago? I had a great snag, I got to tell you, because sometimes information's hard, and sometimes you walk away going, I don't think I did a very good job. I think that all the time. And then you walk away from a good snag and you're going, yeah. And so the one that I pulled away from was this old movie from like the early 90s called 8 Seconds. And I saw a scene in the movie, and I saw it for a young girl, and she said she and her friend were talking about that movie and that scene the day before. And I was like, that's a good snag. St. Teresa, no, it might be Therese, though. It might be Therese. But it's I have an article. I'll find it. I know Spirit will lead me to it. She did something amazing in like the most impoverished part of the world. This woman did something amazing and really saved a lot of people. Yeah. Okay, in maybe 30 minutes I'm going to scream the name out because it occurs to me and I remember it. Okay, so moving on. Jana. Okay, let's look at Jana's. Oh, sorry, hold on. Occupational hazard. Hope they didn't make you too dizzy. Okay, I saw Jana's question. Now let me go find it again. Okay. Is my job going to remain, and will I thrive in it? Is my marriage going to evolve into a higher state of union, meaning can our wounds be repaired, and is there time? Is my mom going to be okay financially and health at least until disease progresses, or maybe she can get better? Okay, let me see what Spirit says here. You're probably going to have to change your job. It's going to be adjacent though, so it's not like you're going to have to go find a completely different job, but the job is going to change. Yeah, it's going to change, and it's going to have some kind of budget issues with it. So I think that, let's say, and I'm sorry I can't remember where you work, but let's say, for example, you work for the state, and the state is having a horrible budget crisis. And, oh, Jana, are you still in here? I forgot to ask that first. So when I say your name, and if you're in here, just pop in and say yes or here or something like that. Jana, are you with us? My mouth is dry. Okay, good. So it's like the funding is going to change. So it's not that you're going to lose your job, but they're going to move it. You're going to be offered a job like in an adjacent the area, maybe an adjacent office, an adjacent field, an adjacent purpose, an adjacent scope. So the job is going to change in some ways, but it's going to stay pretty secure because it's going to be adjacent. So it's not like Spirit is saying, oh my gosh, it's going to crash, you need to go look for another job, go elsewhere, blah blah blah. No, they're not saying that. They're saying it's going to open up adjacent, so you're going to be just fine with it. Okay, marriage. Well, here's the thing. We are shifting pretty big right now. We hit 4D energy last week, which is pretty intense. So everybody's brokenness is coming to the surface. Everybody's. And so, it's, I keep getting messages that are clogging up my phone. And so you have to, really focus on where you want the relationship to go. And the truth is, can it? Absolutely. But it's going to come as the result of your work and your focus and your determination. So it can evolve. But you're not going to evolve at the same rate, Spirit is saying. So sometimes, we do this together. Other times it's like you do this and they stay here, and then you get so high that you feel like the relationship's going to end, and then all of a sudden they come up some. So their evolution, your partner's evolution, is usually not faster than yours because they delay it for so long. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think the evolution is going to be delayed for so long, and then he's going to have some type of crisis, and that crisis is going to cause him to pop up into a higher state of being. So there's going to be a delay, and he's going to push, and being really honest and blunt, it's going to be really difficult because there's going to feel such a disconnect when you're like this. I mean, you're going to feel so disconnected, and and it will feel disconnected until that very moment. And then, it's like he's going to slingshot up. And when he does, that's when you really start to see these things heal, and you start to see, the evolution of the relationship change. So I do think that's coming. The question is not, can it happen, but is it going to happen within the time that you can handle? That's the question. And it's going to be down to the wire. I mean, I'm telling you, because you're going to be way up here and feeling oh so very done and ready to move on. And that's what's going to get him on his own evolutionary path and slingshot him up. So it may very well feel like it's coming across too late, that you had X number of days, X number of years to get this figured out. You just flat out didn't want to. You were never willing to do the work, never willing to listen to me. But the potential's still there. And I'm like Greg Braden, I'm an eternal optimist. So I'm going to say, looking at that I think he's going to get it figured out. Carolyn, no, I haven't called your name yet. Let's see, you're one more after Jana than you. Okay. So anyway, Jana, that's what that's going to be the question. I think it's going to happen at the last possible moment. And I wish that wasn't the case. If I were you, I would probably try to do some soul-to-soul communication and shift that energy a little bit and make it not come down till the very last moment, because that very last moment, that's going to feel pretty bad. If you're waiting till the very last moment until that, I need an eyeglass cleaner, till it comes through. Okay. It's just going to be the last possible moment, and you're going to be so close to being done that it's going to feel, really done. And then you're going to have this Control-Alt-Delete moment where you decide, how you really feel about that. And if you are really ready to have it be done, or if you're willing to go ahead and take the ascension that's happening in your relationship. You should be focused on your healing and your ascension, and, don't hold back, because he will be able to get there faster and easier and better if, you're already there lighting the way. Look at it this way. You run ahead and you hold a torch and you're lighting the way so that when he's ready, he can jump forward and come with you. Does that make sense? Okay. So, yes, your mom is going to be okay, as in, it's going to be okay, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be a struggle. And I do think there's going to be a struggle. I do think she's going to struggle. Can she get better? I believe anyone can heal. But here's the thing. What she's going through health-wise is so deep, such deep soul-fracturing trauma, that she's going to have to deal with that to get better. And I don't see her dealing with that, at least not in real anytime soon. I don't see her dealing with it. So, hold the intention that she deals with where her soul is fractured, and then she can get better. But it really looks like this is the manifestation of decades of trauma that's never been dealt with, decades of pain that's never been dealt with, decades of, inability to heal, to see things through a different lens, to focus on herself, all of it. So, okay. All right. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much, Jana. Okay. Moving forward. Helen, are you in the room? Helen is next. Let me find your question here. And Helen, check in. You're welcome, Jana. Okay, where's Helen's question? Okay, Helen, I don't see your question. Helen, if you're in the live, post yes, or post here. Post something, and I'm not seeing, unless I'm totally overlooking it, I am not seeing a posted question from you. Okay, there you are. Yay, sorry. Okay, you're open to any info from Spirit. Are you wanting to talk to Dallas? Because, I mean, he's always hanging around anytime you're in the room. Anyway, not hanging around me, hanging around you. Okay. Well, he's chiming in, but also Archangel Michael. Okay, Archangel Michael says to tell you that you are getting a fantastic opportunity right now to use your voice, to stand up for yourself, to speak your truth, to hold your ground, to hold a boundary. Do it. Okay? Do it. You are getting a fantastic opportunity to do that. So, speak up, speak out, use your voice, hold your line, hold your boundary, all of it. You will reap tons of benefits from doing this right now. Let's say, for example, that I'm going to just give a random example, but at work, you go in breaks tandem. So you each get a 20-minute break. So if the girl that you switch out with, she takes 25 minutes, then it takes 5 minutes from your break, so you only get 15. And of course, she always has lots of really good excuses as to why she's late. And they might be good excuses, but still it's not fair to you. So you're constantly having to make sacrifices and compromises for someone else's thoughtlessness and someone else's chaos. And so finally you're going to say, okay, no, this isn't okay anymore. So if you take so much as 1 minute of my break time, I'm going to file a complaint, because you've been doing this over and over again, and it's becoming quite excessive, and it's really bothering me. What Spirit is saying is, taking that moment where you hold your ground and stand up for yourself will give you so many benefits in so many other parts of your life. Really, it will think of it like a wall that surrounds you, that's been kind of holding you back, and you punch through any part of that wall and the whole wall crumbles. And then you really start to see all this good stuff coming in. So, I think you've accumulated a large amount of good stuff. And I think that you just have to punch through the wall to get it. I just think you have to punch through the wall to get it. Dallas says to tell you that you're letting way too many people in your head. You're letting too many people in there. You're letting too many people's opinions. You're letting too many people's thoughts. You're letting them in there, and you're letting them mess with what you know. Don't let anyone in your head, he says. They don't deserve to be in your head. You're the only one that deserves to be in your head. He says, don't let them. Kick them out. Don't let them influence what you believe, especially what you believe about you. What you believe about you, your life, him, your life together, all of that. Don't let anyone in your head, he says to tell you. The only person that should be in there is you. And all of your thoughts should be yours. He says to tell you that you've got to remember to live life to the fullest. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you just completely withdraw and pull back and don't. And he says to tell you that, that's the one. If he could give you one really good, solid piece of advice, that would be it. That'd be my advice to anyone, he says. Anyone. When you get to where I am, and he made a joke about being old and in heaven, which I would totally destroy the punchline if I tried it, but just trust me, old and in heaven, his joke. When you get to that point, you don't regret the things you tried that didn't work out. You regret the things you never had the courage to try. You regret the chances that you never took. You regret all the ways that you couldn't quite, take a leap of faith. He says to tell you to live and live fully and live freely, and not think about, what if it doesn't work out? Take a chance. Be willing to risk it. He did, and he doesn't have any regrets. He says, oh, the room just spun. Hold on. Ooh, that was fun. Whenever Spirit's emotions are really strong, it feels like they twirl me. And so it's like on that, what he was about to say, the whole room, like grabbing on the desk going, oh, sweet baby Jesus. That's a lot of spinning. Anyway, he says to tell you that in a lot of ways, the relationship with you was a chance. There was an age difference, you were at different parts of your lives, and look how well that turned out, because he wasn't afraid to take a chance, because he wasn't afraid that if he saw something he wanted, he wasn't afraid to go for it. Neither should you. You should not be afraid to go for it. You have a lot of life left. Live it to the fullest. He absolutely wants that for you. Okay? And the room's still spinning slightly. Ooh, that's fun. Okay, it's not fun. It's really kind of crazy when the world spins. I'm trying to reach my drink behind me without pulling the phone off again. Does that make sense, Helen? Watching for seeing if that makes sense. Sorry, there's a delay. I don't get the message. I guess either the video's lagged or the other's lagged, but yes, awesome. Okay, great. Time to go big. Time to go all in. Time to really start speaking your truth and putting yourself out there. It's time and you're ready. Okay? All right. Thank you, Helen. Oh, what a handful your guy is. He made the world spin. Okay. All right. So, Carolyn, you are next. Let me start looking for your question here, okay? Okay, Carolyn asks, I would like to hear from any person or animal that wants to connect to me. So Carolyn, can you confirm for me that you're still in the live feed by posting yes or here or something like that? Also, am I going to be okay when it comes to paying the bills? Okay. Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, let me pull something up real quick. Well, I was trying to pull up. Okay, I wasn't able to get it pulled up real fast. So I can't remember the website. Okay, so Carolyn, yeah, you're going to be okay when it comes to paying the bills, but it really would do you a lot of good to take like a class in prosperity consciousness, to take some kind of class where you learn how to create, how to manifest, how to do something like, how to pull that kind of energy in. I think you'd benefit greatly, greatly, greatly from it if you did that. It would do you so much good. There's a really good book, and I was trying to link to it, and I'm having trouble with the computer at the moment. But there's a really good book called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And I can go back and try to link to it after we're done, because I don't want to waste a lot of time trying to do it when I'm not able to get that other browser window to open. It's written by a woman named Edwene Gaines. And Edwene Gaines is a Christian teacher. She teaches not really prosperity Christianity like Joel Osteen. It's really very different than that. But this book of hers, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, was really very eye-opening, because she lays a very good case that God wants us to be prosperous, and that Yeshua taught prosperity. And so I think you'd benefit from some of that. I really do. I think that it would benefit you greatly to do some studying in that regard. The other thing is, you actually have quite a few people in spirit coming through. The one that's coming through that's really kind of desperate to get through is in the mother line. So I think this is Grandma. And she is very protective and very maternal towards you. see her being almost rural, so very country. Some people might have called her simple, but very devout in her faith, very passionate about her family, she was very family oriented, very Christian oriented, just a very good person trying to just do good in the world. And she is the one that's kind of elbowing her way in front of everybody else you have. Because she is just really wanting to tell you that she's with you every single day. And that, there's not anything that she's missed. Now, I see her reading the Bible, and I see her reading the Bible to you. So, like at night, maybe when you're asleep, she'll open it up and read you some of the passages. So, Christianity must play a very big part in that part of your family, because that's a pretty big sign right there. That's a pretty big indicator right there. Anyway, she expresses that faith is something that is in your blood, and that, when all else fails, you just remember that. You remember that your faith is in your blood. And, she comes across very, I like her. I mean, she's very good. She's very loving. She's very, now, that's not to say she couldn't be stern, because I do think she could be stern, but very loving and very good. She says to tell you that, somehow you've disconnected, or you've lost your belief in that life should be really good. And, she said that's kind of like a family curse in a way, that we just think life should be hard and we struggle with life. But now I know life should be good, and you deserve a good life. And if you hear nothing else that is said tonight, hear that. You, Carolyn, deserve a good life. Okay? Deserve a good life, period. And so that's what, she really wants to get across to you, is how loved you are and that you deserve a good life. I see her being very rural with, lots of country things around her. Lots of country things. So farm animals, rural energy. So, she's coming through just very much as a protector. I think that if it were possible, she would just wrap her arms around you and tell you everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. This woman really does love you very much. It's a very strong connection that she has to you. Very nurturing, very protective. And then Archangel Michael's coming through and saying to tell you that life has been really hard and difficult and challenging, but it doesn't have to be that way from now on. You deserve good. You deserve a good life. You deserve happiness and joy and prosperity and love and peace. So be willing to seek those things out for yourself. Okay? Be willing to seek those things out for yourself, because you're very deserving of them. You're very deserving of them. Don't lose your faith in the good in people, and don't lose your faith that you deserve good. Don't lose that, because it's a very big part of who you are. I have someone else trying to come through. I'm having a lot of chest pain with it. So whoever's trying to come through, likely died of maybe a heart attack or something in the chest, because my chest is hurting and I'm feeling a little short of breath. I feel like, woo, yeah, I'm short of breath, dizzy, my chest hurts, and I'm pretty sure I smoke cigarettes. Who does that sound like? Who could that be for you, Carolyn? Chest hurting, short of breath, dizzy, smoke cigarettes, and I'm just really struggling for breath right now. Really struggling for breath. John. Okay. Who is John? Ugh. Whew. Okay. I might have to get him to back up a little bit, because I'm really getting dizzy and I'm really struggling to breathe. Whew. Okay. Hey, John, back up just slightly, okay? I've got you. I've got you. So you're going to get to come through. But if you make me die of a heart attack, this ends. He's really desperate to get through, Carolyn. He's really desperate to get through. Is this a relationship, like a relationship person? A little. I'm gonna have to ask you to back up even a little more. Yeah, when you get close, I start feeling like I can't breathe, and I start feeling like I'm clawing right here. Okay. All right. Hold on. Was John a boyfriend or a husband or someone that you had been in a relationship with? Your husband. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Okay. He has a lot to say. A lot. Okay. Um, First things he's saying, he doesn't feel like he's been in spirit very long to me. How long has he been in spirit? It can't be that long, because usually if it's 3 years or under, they feel one way, and if it's 3 years or more, it's a different way. And he definitely feels like he's not been in spirit all that long. But I guess it depends on how long he's been transcended, not necessarily how long he's been in spirit. Okay. Okay, so the first thing he expresses is absolute shock that he's in heaven. Not that he didn't go to heaven. Wait, that didn't come out right. Back up. Absolute shock that he died on earth. It's like there was this part of him that just believed he'd live forever, that he would absolutely live forever. That no part of him would ever have to go. And, he knew he would, but also there was this part of him that just could not see himself going to spirit. So the things he's communicating is, first and foremost, he loves you every bit as much now as he did but when he was still on earth. Beyond any shadow of a doubt, this man is still hopelessly and helplessly in love. He says that he really wishes that, you guys could have had another lifetime together right now, because that still wouldn't have been enough. And there's some things he says that he did that he regrets, things he should have taken care of, things he should have done, things he should have, been more on top of, and that he wasn't, and he's sorry. There's a lot of things he says I should have been on top of, but I'm sorry. Boy, if he could fix it, he would, in a heartbeat. He absolutely would. He absolutely would. He comes across, really almost in some ways like a puppy dog in love. I mean, I just get this, he's just so in love, he just needs you to know. He just needs you to know how much he loves you. So maybe he doesn't feel like he did a good enough job of telling you that when he was on earth, because he's just so over and over again. She has to know how much I love her. She has to know, how much she means to me. She has to know that I really thought we had more time together. She has to know that there are things I would do differently. There are things I would take back. She has to know. And so he's just really strong with that, that he really would like for you to know that he loves you deeply, and that he really did not think he would die. He really thought you guys had a lot more time together. So he says to tell you that he tries to visit you often, but whenever he gets too close, sometimes it makes you sad instead of comforting you. So he takes a step back when it's that way, when he can't quite connect to you with you being happy or with you feeling his comfort. If it makes you sad, he's going to step back because he doesn't want you to be sad. But he says to tell you that he, everything about him is you right now. He just wants to tell you how sorry he is, you know, that he left, and that he loves you with all his heart. Yeah. I think he's still probably doing some healing, you know, and he's having a look at your relationship, because his energy, his emotions are really, really strong. And so I think he still has a little bit of healing to do. But he's going to be okay. And it keeps making my head spin. And whew, that's, you know, usually if you're transcended fully, you don't make my head spin as much. And he is just making my head twirl. So I think he's still healing in heaven. But he's in heaven. He's fine. But, you know, he's got a lot to tell you. Many years from now, when you're there, he's got a lot of things to make up for. He's got a lot of things to say, and he's just really trying to get it all out. Yeah. But he says he promises he won't leave you. He won't leave you. Okay? Marina just typed what happened to the live feed. Can everyone see me, or what? That's upside down. That's not good. Hold on. Okay. I'm still here. Can anyone see and hear me? Okay. Let me post to her. Okay. Okay, it dropped out, but it came back. I'm here. Okay. All right. Well, let's move forward. Carolyn, thank you very much. You know, I'm glad that he was able to come through. I'm glad John was. Boy, he was a head trip there for a minute. My head was a spinning. Okay, Kate. Yes, it glitched. Robin. I'm telling you what. John made my head spin. That was probably one of the strongest spins I've ever had as a medium. His emotions, his feelings just whoosh. Yeah. And so, yeah, okay. All right, so, okay, I see that. Kate, you're next. So Kate, check in, let me know that you're here, and then I'm going to go look for your question. Oh my gosh, I have to drink so much water. And that was tea. Okay, Kate says, question 1, are there any messages from Spirit they want me to hear? And 2, what can Spirit tell me about my sister Mercy? Okay, well, questions for Spirit they want you to hear. They always have a lot to say. Kate, do you have a Facebook page your profile picture is not you. Is there a picture on your Facebook page that would show me you so I could see your energy field? I'm going to pull up Facebook and the other. And I'm going to see if I can find a picture of you in here. Where are photos? Okay, so there's a picture on your Facebook from March that has you holding a dog. Is this you holding a dog with a pink collar? Let me show you real quick. Is that you? Okay. I wanted to double check my energy analysis here. You are an elemental energy. Oh, that's not you? Crap. Whoever that is an elemental energy. I suspect you are too. So, where are you? Is there one here of you that I can find? Okay, give you a second. I suspect I think you're a specific energy type, and I just want to double check before I run with it. And if I can just see a picture of you, I can know that pretty quickly. Okay, is this you? You just changed the profile picture to someone singing. Is this you? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, you're an elemental. Okay. Um, elementals, elemental energy is well, it's one of my favorite energies, to be honest. Um, but it's also can be one of the most intense energies that we have. And it really depends on where that elemental is. So elemental's this umbrella category, okay? On this side of it, we have members of PETA. We have strict vegans. We have the souls that are here to advocate for animals, for animal rights. We have all of that. On this side of it, the video dropped again. There's a lot of energy here tonight. Just keep trying, guys. I'm so sorry. When I post it, it'll be continuous. On this side of elementals, we have actors and musicians and comics and writers, and they're here to, you know, entertain and teach us things. And so this elemental category is kind of big. Like over here we have Gwyneth Paltrow, and over here we have Robin Williams, and then we have everything in between. Elementals, typically we think of them as being very earthy, meaning they have a connection to earth. They do well with animals. They do well near water. They do well near mountains. They do well near trees. And so they can hold the vibration of earth. Okay. And so as an elemental, you know, you're always going to feel a little bit like you don't quite fit in with everyone around you. You also have the ability to throw psychic fireballs. And, you know, if you get really angry, you have that ability to throw psychic fireballs at people. So you know, being that elemental, you have to be mindful of your energy and what you're releasing, because you could, you know, throw really strong psychic fireballs. You need to stay really connected to who you are and your truth. Elementals, they can't live a lie. So, you know, they have to stay really true. You have an entire council as an elemental, and as that elemental energy, you have an entire team of like spirit beings that are here to help you on this planet and help you, you know, walk through day-to-day life. I don't know the totality of what you're going to do on this planet because they're not telling me, but I know it's pretty big. So, you know, if you feel like maybe you haven't been able to live up to what you thought you would, or you haven't lived the totality of the life you thought you would have, or you haven't found the totality of the potential you thought you had, that's okay, because you're not near done, and you've got all this time and space for what you're here to do. And you know, it does really look pretty big, what you're going to do. Don't stress out about it. Don't worry about it. You'll do it all on your own, very naturally and without any stress or problems, because it's what you incarnated on this planet to do. You know, it's very much why you're here. You know, this is probably a little too woo-woo for this group, you know, and for this type of message. But, you know, I see you doing a lot of interdimensional work. So I really think you're going to have the ability to pull across the dimensions and pull knowledge, esoteric knowledge, psychic messages, all of it. I think you're going to be able to pull it across the dimensions, and I think that's a big part of what you're going to do. Okay, so I see people are getting kicked out again. Are you still with me, Kate? Are you still in the group? Okay. I think that your soul contracts in this lifetime really involve interdimensional work, which is, like I said, it's a little woo-woo for this group. It's a little woo-woo for this type of message, but really work on your own psychic skills, work on your intuition, especially claircognizance, which is just knowing things and not really knowing how you know that, but you just know. Get a book on it and really treat it like you would study anything, because I think you're going to do some pretty big things on this planet, and there's really not much of a chance you don't do it. I mean, there's really not. So, on one timeline, it's already happened. So, go all in, girlfriend. Go all in, because you're about to knock it out of the park. Interdimensional work is, in my opinion, some of the best work. But boy, it's hard to quantify. It's hard to describe. It's hard to quantify. It's hard to, make it understandable for other people. But Marina just wrote, lots of energy tonight, hot flashes like I haven't had to. Tell me about it. I mean, I cannot stop drinking because I'm so hot. I'm sweating, and the energy keeps blowing the connection. And I mean, I've done 5 of these now, and I've never had problems with the connection before tonight. But we have quite a few intuitives in the room tonight, and we have star people that are doing cross dimension work. So I mean, we're just blowing it like crazy. Okay, so what was the other part? What can Spirit tell me about my sister Mercy? Okay. Magneto in the house, yeah. It's like any minute I'm like, oh, my Harry Potter scar, it burns. I think Voldemort must be getting near too. That's my own little inside joke. Nobody thinks it's funny but me, but that's okay. I think it's hilarious, and I laugh at my own jokes, so no one else has to. Okay, you know what? It looks to me, I get really, as soon as I started trying to connect for Mercy, just so you know, I started getting dizzy again. Woo, crazy dizzy. So I'm really feeling, Spirit is saying that your sister came here for some of the same reasons you did, and is wired differently, not like you, but still part of that big category. But it does look like there might be some more karmic things in her way of a clear path. So she'll get that. There's some more karmic things, looks like past life stuff, in the way. Past life stuff is always really hard to quantify, and Spirit only gives us part of it when it's for somebody else. They can only tell us what that person's soul agrees to us knowing, so it becomes a little more complicated. Is she still on Earth? Well, she's not popping in here in spirit, so I don't know. I would think that she would pop in here if she were in heaven, but maybe not. But she's not in the room with me in spirit. That I can tell you. I'm getting my stuff through the guides. But let me see. Basically, she's a starseed, but there's so much karmic debt on her that I can see that did not turn out to be a good thing. That she really, really got lost in a karmic cycle, even down to the way her wiring is, like even down to the way the wiring in her brain is. I am not finding her on the spirit plane. So either she's there and she's not coming through, which is unlikely, or she's on Earth. One or the, so I mean that, but usually if they're in spirit, they come through. They really do. And they're talking about her as if she's still on Earth. So I'm going to say I think so. But I'm going to tell you that there's crazy karma for her. Well, yeah, I've been missing for 1.5 years. Well, if I just rip the Band-Aid off and I'm just really blunt with it and don't sugarcoat it at all, she's got so much karmic stuff going on that I could see it just completely derailing this lifetime completely. You know, even down to the way she's wired, even down to the wiring in her brain and making her perceive things differently. Send me a picture of her, and send me, if there's like a missing persons alert, send it to me and let me see what I get, okay? If the information's there, I usually get it pretty quickly and pretty easily. If it's not there, then I don't. But I have been fortunate enough to find 3 missing people so far, and 2 were child abductions, and 1 was an adult who wanted to disappear. But send it to me and I'll take a look at it. And it's one of those things, it's just like finding something lost. If I'm going to have it, I'm going to have it almost instantly. And if it doesn't come in, it doesn't come in. But send it to me and I'll take a look and see what I get. But she's not coming through in spirit. So that, I mean, I would almost assume that if she was in spirit, she would be popping in right now. But there's other factors that we don't want to go into right now. So we'll talk about that privately. Send that to me, okay? All right. Thank you very much, Kate, my little elemental starseed friend, who is going to do cross-dimensional work and will be pretty good at it. Okay. Lana, you're up. All right. Let's find your question. Okay. Sorry. Got to scroll. Okay, that's the text talking about the drop. Okay. Lana here. Great. Awesome. I'm interested in whatever spirit wants me to know. I would love to know about any of my grandparents and my dad. Okay. Awesome. I thought maybe you had another message, but I'm not finding it if you did. Did you post something else too, Lana? Let me scroll up here. That's the talk about the brief drop. Okay. I'm not seeing it. Okay, yes, post it again when you ask to be more specific. Okay. Well, let me find it again. Okay, whatever spirit says, and want to know about any of my grandparents and my dad. Okay. There are quite a few. Okay, there are quite a few. Oh, you said right after the car video. Let me go back there and look then. Oh, here we go. In our session, you mentioned seeing new life or fertile energy. Do you still see this? Could you tell me more about what it could be? Also, you mentioned an ancestor having intuitive gifts. Any other indications who it might be? Wondering if my grandparents and dad are out there trying to communicate. Your ancestor one is easy. It's a long, I mean, it goes through your ancestral line. So we could go back 20 generations and we're still going to find traces of it. What happens is that energy is in the ancestral line, and then it just only pops up when it's supposed to. So your great grandmother to the 18th could have it, and then it just it stays there, and then it just continues to pop up ever so often, as much as that line is needed. Okay, so I do, the new life and fertile energy, absolutely. Here's what I'll tell you with that, though. I'm telling everybody, everything's kind of in a hold on tight and just hold on until after the eclipse. that eclipse, this lunar energy. So we have the full moon energy, a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, Mercury retrograde, and then the Lion's Gate, all at the same time. And we're in the thick of it now. Right now. So all of that is crazy and intense and all over us. So the new life, fertile energy, still there, is just going to, you're going to feel it more in September. Okay. So just consider these 3 weeks in August to be pause, where it's like everything just hits pause and then it picks up again afterwards. So I do see lots of new life and new energy all around you. I think that it's going to be new people coming in. I think some of your soul tribe. I think you're going to have some of your, some of your more purposeful soul stuff coming in, which is, moving through soul contracts with some of the people that are going to come in. And, all of that looks really, really good. Okay. So I hate to do this, but I'm going to hit pause for a second. And I apologize. My stomach is starting to hurt. I know what that could mean. So I'm going to go get some medicine real quick and take it, because last night I thought I was going to die from my stomach. So I apologize profusely. I hate to hit pause in a live feed, but I'm going to take my headset off. I'm going to refill my water and grab medicine for my stomach, and it'll take me less than 30 seconds. Okay? Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so getting back into the energy of that. So yeah, lots of new energy, lots of new life. I do encourage you to explore your own intuition. That new life energy certainly has a wonderful anchoring to it, and anchoring typically opens up our intuition, and it opens up our communication, at the very minimum with our own loved ones in spirit. So I really do encourage you to do that. The other thing is, you actually have, if I scan the room when I'm talking to you, you have quite a few people in spirit. Now a few of these stragglers could be from someone else in the group, but a lot of them are stepping forward as yours. So, you have quite a few, and I'm going to see if I can single your dad out here and see if we can get him to step forward out of the group so that we can talk to him. Okay, I can't validate this as him, so I'm going to just tell you what I get. If this isn't your dad and it's someone else's, speak up, okay? Because when they do this, sometimes, well, think of it, you've been waiting to talk to your loved one forever, and you're so excited that you're just going to jump in, whether it's your turn or not, and that's kind of what they do at this point. So the man that I get coming through, in his younger years, he worked on things like cars or machines. He fixed things manually in his younger years. I feel like he had some health problems at the end, so we didn't get to do a whole lot there. I also get a lot of problems either with my back or my hips when I connect to him, because I'm having trouble walking, and I'm having trouble going like from standing to sitting up, and so I'm getting a lot of mobility issues with him. And so he's coming through as kind of uncomfortable in his body at the end. It was a lot of pain. But in his younger years, he fixed things. He fixed cars, he fixed maybe appliances, machinery. You know, he did that kind of stuff. He liked to read and to do, I think I'm saying crossword puzzles, but the truth is all I'm saying is holding something in your hand and writing. So I'm assuming that's some kind of crossword puzzle or word search or something. He liked to do those. He most people would probably say he was kind of quiet, but you know, he certainly could, when he felt comfortable and safe, he was really kind of loud. Okay. He worked in an auto shop as a teenager. Got it. He also had either Parkinson's or Lewy body dementia. Yes. Okay. Mobility issues. Yes. Got him. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Then I have your dad. Okay. First thing he's showing is that he gets around just fine. Okay. He's up, he's down, he's all over the place. His body's just fine. He is fully restored, fully healed, and fully fine. Now, you know, he says to tell you that it's like he's saying that you've always kind of stayed on the reserved side of life, and you haven't been really willing to go all in, you know, and really go for what you want. And he's encouraging you to do that. He's encouraging you to do that. He's encouraging you to, you know, go all in. You know, find something that you want, find something that you love, and go do it. Don't hold back. Don't feel reserved, and don't be afraid. You know, it's kind of the same message we got a little earlier with the guy that said, you know, take chances, do things. Well, what more than take chances, what your dad is saying, be happy. You know, find what you want and be happy. Go for what you want. And, you know, create the life that you want. And if you don't know what you want, then explore till you find it. You know, your dad comes through as fiercely protective of you. But also, well, I say that because that's what he's showing me. The very next breath, he's like, but she's always had a good head on her shoulders. You know, she's always been more cautious and reserved and a good head on her shoulders. So, you know, she really didn't need rescuing very much. So, you know, she was always the one doing the rescuing. She was always the one, you know, out doing it like that. And so, you know, he encourages you to find what makes your heart sing and go for it. And not to be afraid and not to hold back, really and truly. Your dad comes through just really, really great. I mean, great energetically, great emotionally, just really very, very peaceful. Okay, the dogs are snarling under my feet. If you hear that noise, go dogs, go. Ziggy, Fergie, Spud, no. Last week they pulled the phone off the cord, off the table. We'll see if they do that this week. But anyway, he, okay, hold on, he's talking. Okay. Okay. He says to tell you that he does feel like there's a lot of things left unsaid for you and him together. He does feel like there's a lot of things that, you know, that he really didn't get to say, that he wished he would have now. And so he wished he would have really had more really soulful heart-to-heart Ziggy and Spud, go. More heart-to-heart conversations with you. But you need to know that really and truly, he's really never worried about you. He's never worried about, you know, you ending up in a bad place, or, I mean, he's just like, she's got such a good head on her shoulders. She's got such a good head on her shoulders. And so, you know, that's what he's trying to communicate to you. He likes to visit. He, you know, how do I word this? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just punish the dogs if they don't get out from underneath my chairs. Go, Ziggy. Okay, so your dad does feel like he needs to apologize. And he also there are certain areas where he feels like he let you down. And, it's like sometimes he almost felt like you were the parent and he was learning from you. So if you have any unsaid stuff with your dad, tonight when we're done, have a conversation with him and really speak your heart, say what you think and say what you feel. And, let him have that, how you feel. Let him have that. Give that to him. That way he can make his peace with it. Because he's trying, he has some things that he regrets and he feels badly about, and he would like to clear the air. And, if you need to tell him off, tell him off. If you need to, say that one time, you grounded me and it wasn't my fault, or that one time, blah, 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 say those things to him. Because I promise you, just as much as you need to say them, he needs to hear them. Okay? Really, it'll do you both a lot of good. Anyway, he does come through just fine, just so you know. Don't have any worries about him, about his soul or his where he is now, because he is fine. He's absolutely fine. Okay. The other thing, Lana, is continue to seek your path right now. Continue to seek your path and what you want to do. Don't hold back. You have a wonderful opportunity coming up, and embrace it. The totality of it, embrace it. All in, sister. All in. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Moving forward. Let's see who comes next. Marina, you're next. Are you in the room? Let me find your question here. I know you were in here earlier, and I know you posted a question. I'll just have to find it. There you are. Okay. Okay. I'm open to whatever spirit has for me. Are there any animals, people, or other spirits that want to tell me something? And more specifically, can a spirit guide me in regards to the being I briefly saw last Thursday night when I was dozing off and startled awake with the knowing that someone was behind me? Why was it there, and should I try to make contact with it? If so, how? Okay. I get two. I'm getting two different ones, two different beings. So, let's figure out which one was behind you Thursday. When you said you were startled awake and you connected to the energy of the being, were you afraid, or were you just startled that they were there? And that'll help me know which being was where. The one that you were afraid was one, and if you weren't afraid, it was this other one, but they're both around you. So I'm going to tell you about them both. I'm just curious, for Thursday evening when you were startled, was it just, oh my God, oh, you're there, hi, or was it, someone's behind me? Just startled. Okay. So let's go with the other one first, because I can get lost in the second one. So here's the deal, Marina. You are now moving into a place where you can, if you choose, start to practice soul rescue. Now, soul rescue is where an earthbound spirit, so someone who has died, but they don't know they're dead, okay, approaches you for help. Okay, you're very welcome, Lana. Thank you very much. They approach you for help. In this case, given your path and what you're going to do, I believe that you're going to attract women who have been killed in domestic violence situations. And I believe that you're going to help them transcend into heaven. And so I think that that door will be open for you if you choose to accept it. You're not forced to, but you can choose. And so I think that the earthbound spirit, the young woman I see around you, is someone who is looking for help, someone who's looking for guidance, and then the other one we'll talk about in a minute. So, when you feel someone around you you'll start to feel that panicked energy, or like someone's chasing you or someone's threatening to harm you. I think that you're going to start helping these women across. Now, soul rescue is honestly one of the most important processes on this planet, because we've done such a very poor job with teaching people about death. We've made everybody afraid they're going to hell, and we've made everybody afraid of judgment, instead of, encouraging people in spirit and talking about transitioning home, and it's just like being born and it's natural and you don't have to be afraid of it. We've done the opposite. So we have souls stay on earth for different reasons. One reason is that they don't know that they're dead. This is common. This is going to be common with what you do. The other reason is they fear hell. They fear judgment. So I think it's going to be more likely number one. And so, think of it like a therapy session almost. And you're going to, so the young woman who you have around you now that is wanting to transition, she's probably 22, 23 years old. She has kind of stringy dishwater blonde hair. It's kind of unkept. She definitely looks like somebody's had a hard life. I see a lot of addiction issues around her. And, she was murdered by her boyfriend. So I think that she, is trying to get help from you, and, seeing you as someone who can help the women and men to a lesser extent, but the women who have been murdered by a boyfriend, a husband, a lover, helping them cross into spirit. So I think that door is opening for you if you choose to take it. And it's very much like therapy. The first few times I did soul rescue, I just guessed, and then if all else fails, I call a loved one of theirs in spirit or an angel to come and get the person so that they can take them back. So I do think that's step one. The being that only startled you and did not frighten you is one of your council, not your personal individual council, but more like the council for your soul group. So galactic council, if you will. And that is a being of light that comes through. The equivalent on Earth would probably say there's something like an archangel, something like that. Some would call them more ascended masters. I'm just going to call them, part of the guardians, those light beings that come through like that. And, the energy has been extremely intense. All of us are getting, think of it like upgrades. All of us are getting upgrades, and all of us are getting alignments in our chakras, alignments in our vibrational fields, so that we can navigate the shift that's coming up. And so I believe that was part of your shift. And you said, I went back to sleep like someone drugged me. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I sent an email not that long ago to the person I bounce ideas off of and said, okay, how many emails do people start writing to me that say, okay, this is going to sound crazy, but that was exactly my email. Okay, this is going to sound crazy, but, and I said I had a similar experience, and then it felt like I went under anesthesia because I floated off asleep just like you do when you're having surgery. And I wrote that to her just last week, probably last Tuesday, when I sent that to her, and told her that like a part of my arm got really, really, really hot to the touch, and it was just weird. And I was like, okay, so what do you think about this? And, she wrote back and basically said some of the same stuff I'm saying to you, that it sounds like you're getting an energetic upgrade. Spirit, I don't want to spend time on spiritual warfare tonight. That's a whole different conversation, and it will certainly change the entire dynamic of the room. And we're not going to do that. But what I will say is that, spiritual warfare is, bringing light into the darkness. And so those light workers, so those intuitives, those healers, those people that were on the front line, they're getting big time help right now. Oh yeah, you just wrote, intuitively it felt like someone was helping me, because it was. All this shifting stuff that's going on, our bodies have to ascend as well. I mean, to be honest, my energy can hit 5D no problem. I mean it. I have no problem going there. I can channel that energy and be in it and feel just fine. My physical body, however, struggles to get there because it's such a high vibration. that it's hard for the physical body, but my energy body, boom, 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 I'm there. We have to get the help in order to get our bodies up there. So we are getting help right now. So pay attention to weird dreams. Pay attention to things like that, because it is you getting the help. It's spirit, it's archangels, it's guides, it's guardians, making adjustments on our energy bodies that go to our physical bodies that help us navigate this energy. So it's very much healing. It's very much like the little boy. There was a story I read about years ago about a little boy who had cancer. So every night before he went to bed, he would envision all these knights on horses coming in with their swords, drawn, and fighting away the cancer like the bad guys. And so think of it like that. At night when you go to sleep, the good guys, spirit, God, all of our guides and our guardian angels and our archangels come in and they fight away the bad so that we can live happier, healthier lives. And so honestly, I know we're just talking about it really as it relates to Marina, but honest to God, everybody should know this, because it's probably going to affect all of us very soon. Within the next 3 weeks, probably all of us are going to have some kind of experience like that. And it's God's hand behind the scenes helping us. Humanity's ready to be amazing. And I mean that. Humanity is ready to be amazing. I know that parts of humanity are not there, but we are. And it's time. And it's really exciting. And I really am excited about all the good stuff coming, because it's time, and I've waited long enough. I want it now. I want it now. That just picture me as that little girl, Baruka on Willy Wonka. She's wearing the red dress and she's going, "Don't care how, I want it now." Just picture that for me. Anyway, it is helping you, Marina. It's absolutely helping you. And you might have more. It just depends on, they're saying you'll have more. So, but Soul Rescue, I think that would be a great thing for you to research. Actually, are those books here? Okay, sorry. I'm going to have to yell at the dogs again. Ziggy and Spud, you're going to knock everything off my desk with all these wires if you don't stop. Okay. There was a book, one of my friends, her name is Nancy, she gave me an amazing book. She gave me 3 amazing books, but one of them, and it must be at the office, it's called Spirit Release, I believe. Spirit Release. But you can send me a message or post it in the group, and then I could post it for everybody. But it's a psychologist's take on Spirit Release. So it's very, very fascinating. I think it's an amazing topic. And like I said, I fell backwards into it, and I do think you're being given the invitation to practice soul rescue. And it's honestly one of the best things that we can do, because these souls need help. They're still the same people. They just don't have the physical body, but they still have the same fears. They still have the same thoughts. They still have the same likes and dislikes, and they're still needing help. And it takes the intuitives, the people who can hear them and connect to them, to step up. So this 22-year-old girl that you're going to help, she's reaching out to you because maybe she saw you speak. Maybe she just knows your story. Maybe she liked you. There could be any one of a million reasons why, but she's there for you. And that is what you hold on to. And I think that you're being asked to do that. And so if you want to talk more about that privately, just let me know. I don't want to, I could go off and speak 2 hours on that and seriously not be done. Because that's how I roll. But I think you're being asked to do it, and I think it's time. So, and I think you're going to be great at it. I think you'll be amazing at it. I mean, really, for everybody, and I know you're having trouble staying in the room, and I'm really sorry. But all this energy is blowing the connection, and I can't really do much about that. But what I'd like to say to you all is, if you're here for a reason. Please do not think that all of this is just happening and you're insignificant and you're just going to stand over to the side. There's a reason why you're here, and there's a reason why you're called to this stuff, and it's because of everything that's happening. We're at a critical point for this planet, and all the light workers, all the healers, all the intuitives, you're being awoken for a reason, and that's it. So it's time. It's truly time.
and it's go time, you know. 2011, Spirit started saying, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Just in the last 2 months, it switched to, it's time. So there's no more getting ready. It's time. And you're part of that. The reason you're in this group is because you're part of that. The reason why you're called to these things is because you're part of that. So find where you're supposed to serve in it and dive in. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's validation. Just jump, because that's what we do. Okay, thank you, Marina. And yes, we will do a private video on that, because that's actually be a really good video. Okay, all right. So, Shani, are you in the room? If you are, we'll do your message now, and if not, I'm going to skip you and check back. So if you're in the room, will you pop in for me and say yes? Let me see what your question was. Is it safe and for my highest good to sign the insurance check for my ex? If so, should there be stipulations of any kind? Okay, are you in the room with me? Okay, I'm going to circle her then and come back, and I'm just going to try to watch and see if she pops in. Okay, Amy is next. Amy, are you in the room? And Amy Wales is the same as Amy Paul, am I correct? Because I think I only have one Amy. So, oh shoot, I said a last name. I am so sorry. Darn it. Sorry. Okay. All right. I would like to hear from anyone that wants to give me a message, my dad or my brother. I would like to know more about my brother's death. Is there anything Spirit wants me to do? Do I need to make changes in my life? Is that your only, was there another question somewhere else, or is that it? Kind of scroll through. We made the questions really difficult tonight, which is fine. I can hang, but it just takes a minute to scroll through to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. All right. I want to go, I really want to go into your brother's death. Are you comfortable telling me anything about that? About your brother's death? I kind of feel like that's where we need to go. Like, when did he die? And I understand that you have questions. So what was the public story? Or what was thought that happened? I kind of feel like we're going to do some sleuthing. He was shot in 2005. Okay. All right. Did they ever got closure? Yeah. They tried to give you one story, but it never worked. It never fit. Like the story that was given. Did someone end up going to jail or being charged for his death? There were 3 people there. Were they saying it was an accident? Oh, they never solved the case. Okay, that's what I was trying to find out. Okay, that's what I need to know. All right, let me see. Ugh. I feel like when I try to connect, I can't, like my neck and my, like right here is really constricted when I try to connect to your brother. Okay. The people there said he did it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't. Where was he? I mean, I'm having trouble right here. Okay. Where he was shot in the head. Where in the head? Because I'm getting, like, all my constrictions are right here. Wait, I have someone blowing up my phone, so I'm going to send them a really quick message and tell them I'm in a gallery right now. Near the temple at the back of his... Okay. Did they check his neck for a hand mark on it? Do you know? Did you ever read it? Because I'm getting this energy. I mean, I'm getting that someone had him by the neck. And it goes up. So whoever had him, they didn't just do this. They pushed up that. Okay. All right, I'm going to let him talk for a minute, okay? And I'm just going to listen, and I'm not going to interrupt him, and I'm just going to listen and write things down. Then I'm going to come back and tell you, okay? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me look here. I don't know about I can hear the electricity. Yeah, I can too. And that's why I decided to do it this way versus him telling me something and me telling you just let him talk for a minute and write everything down. Okay, I don't know that you really got much truth in what you were told. I really don't. Because I'm getting some very conflicting stuff. And I always tell people as a medium, I really trust things most when they come through an archangel. I do, because people are still people and they can still make mistakes. But when it comes to how someone died, really, we don't make mistakes there as people. So, let me give you an example of that, because that made no sense. Here's a true example. A woman came to see me, and her dad in spirit said that she was going to have twins, okay? And she was going to have twin boys. And she's like, he always said that. He always told me he wanted me to have twin boys. Great. Well, she gets pregnant and has a girl. And I'm like, well, what the heck? I thought you told her she was going to have twin boys. He said, no, I just always told her that. I didn't mean she was going to have twin boys. I just meant she would know that because I always told her that. So she knew that was her dad because of what he said, but it wasn't a prediction for the future. So if an archangel tells me, they're going to get pregnant and they're going to have a girl, I believe that because that comes from an archangel. The loved one may be telling you what they want, not necessarily what's going to happen. I hope that makes sense. So I always make that when I'm doing sessions. I always make that clarification because you're getting their perspective on it, and they're still just people like you and me and everyone else. Setting that aside, whenever it comes to how someone died, they have the best perspective because it's first person. Now, sometimes they may not know, and that actually does happen. Someone who has severe dementia, someone who has a head trauma that they don't know what happens for 7 days, like they think they died instantly, but they were in a coma for 7 days. So there's a little bit of variation there, but he's not really fuzzy, or at least not on this part of it. Okay, so your brother to me looks like a pretty good guy. I'm going to start there because some of the things I'm going to tell you, are going to be about people that aren't good people. And even good people can get caught up with the wrong people, right? And that's kind of what happened. I think your brother got in with some people. Well, actually, it wasn't even him directly. One of his friends got in with the wrong people. That dragged him into it with the wrong people, and all of this happened because of it. So your brother really was innocent in probably 95% of this. Maybe we'll say 5%, maybe he made the wrong decision, but 95% is pretty good, So one of his friends, okay, one of his newer friends was really caught up in basically bad people, drugs, human trafficking, drugs and human trafficking primarily. Those were the two areas. Now, your brother had not, again, it's not him. It's he's adjacent. He's guilty by association in a way. There's a girl that she's really, I would say she's abused from this perspective. But one of the main guys kind of uses her to feel people out. So she'll go and she'll hook up with a guy, find out what he knows or who he's talking to or what he's doing, and then report back. So, in a way would probably say that she was something like a prostitute because, she does those hookups, finds out the information, and then reports it back, even though, technically he's not paying going by hands, but she belongs to this guy. I want to preface this by saying these are not people to mess with. So whatever you do, don't take this information and it'll make you a target. Okay. So I'm going to tell you everything I'm getting, but I'm going to trust you to use it responsibly and not put a target on you, because that would be, so much worse. So your brother's death was a message, a threat. Okay. I can see the shot happen. And here's what I can see, okay? Because this is what he can show me. The guy who did it was in his mid to late 20s. I can tell you he's wearing white K-Swiss shoes, okay? And he has a white hat on. I mean, that's how specific I can see those two parts, and then he's kind of blurred out in between. So I can tell you the top of him and the bottom of him, but he's the one who pulled the trigger, okay? And there were, by the way, I don't think that there were just 3 people there. I think there were a few, and I also think that some part of this is on video somewhere. That this was a message, this was a threat, this was a message, and this was to say, this is what happens when you make us mad. We shoot you. Anyway, they really did not think, they, as in your brother and his friend, they really thought that these guys were going to come in and scare them, maybe hit them, beat them up, scare them, and then they would go. The friend had other run-ins, and that's exactly what happened. But your brother's friend had, he served a point to them. He looks kind of like he ran in between, so maybe he sold stuff or whatever. But your brother was the one that they wanted to, this is the threat. This is who we're going to make an example out of. He says to me that it, like, this weird adrenaline thing kicked in, and so in those last moments he really wasn't even afraid or there in his body. It's like he just kind of checked out because there was so much adrenaline and so much energy. It's like it was a movie, it wasn't real. So he didn't even realize what had happened, until he was, transitioning in spirit. So if you're worried about him being afraid at that end, he wasn't. Now, prior to that, I do see, I would love to find out if they found, because I see him getting like that, like someone doing this to him and, threatening him like that. I see that really clearly, and I feel it when I connect to him. I feel someone's hand around my throat. So I feel kind of strongly that happened. I would hope that it would have left a mark and that they would have found it. Okay, so is any of this making sense? Because I mean, I've got more, but I don't want to move on until you're ready. And also, what town or city did this happen in? Okay. Like, is this a Corpus Christi? Okay. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense then for because I kept seeing this trafficking network, human trafficking network through it. And I'm not saying your brother was involved in human traffickers. I'm saying that he knew people that was involved with it. It's, it's that connection. The people that are behind this, are really pretty powerful and pretty strong and lots of money. This is organized is what I'm trying to say. So, keep that in mind. It's organized. That means that, people can easily be bought off and paid off for certain things. But I can, beyond any shadow of a doubt, tell you your brother did not commit suicide. No doubt. I can tell you that the person who did it emphatically was wearing white shoes and a white hat, and was the man holding the gun. And he was probably between, I'm going to say 5'10" and 6 foot tall, based on just how tall he looks to me. Not real tall, so not 6'4", and not short like 5'4". So, right there, a little under 6 foot is what I'm going to say. Big, kind of big. Now, not obese big, but, built big. I feel like this was someone who was paid to rough people up and to send a message. Now, if you could find this girl that I'm seeing, she was definitely Hispanic, curly hair, wore lots of jewelry, was a little, Avery's in here getting the dogs. Hold on. Are you taking your babies? Spud, Ziggy, come on. Ziggy, go with Avery. Go with Avery. Ziggy doesn't want to leave me. Go with little mama, Ziggy, go.
Can you just send them up?
Yeah, I'll send them up later. Okay. Good night, sweetie. Anyway, she was Hispanic, definitely not overweight, but she did have kind of a curvy backside. And I think she was wearing a red and white striped top. Her clothes are not as clear as the other guys. The other guys, I know he was wearing a white hat, and I know he had shoes on there. Yeah. Well, if they needed to stage it as a suicide, they had to leave the gun. That's not hard. I promise. I mean, it is just as clear as it could be. Your brother did not commit suicide. I have no doubt there. No doubt. I'm also positive it was a message. I feel pretty certain about the guy in the white hat and the white shoes. I feel pretty certain about the Hispanic girl with the curly hair. Those I feel pretty certain about, but I'm positive your brother did not commit suicide. Absolutely positive. Positive that it was a message. Hold on, let me see what he's trying to show me. Did one of his friends work in some type of construction business? I see a connection through somebody that worked in construction, either private contracting or maybe building homes in a suburb or something. I see a connection through a construction guy. So maybe that was one of the fronts that they used, but I see a construction company or a contractor being connected somehow through your brother. Are you aware of any of his friends working in construction? You write that. Some of his friends, he might have only been 18, but some of his friends were definitely older. I mean, like I said, the guy who actually pulled the trigger was in his mid to late 20s. Yeah. I mean, your brother was honestly, innocent in it. It was a message. It was whoever this other guy is. His friend, his adjacent friend. He still would have been in high school, but he had dropped out. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's a couple ways to look at this. And this is the hard part about being a medium, and I mean this so wholeheartedly when I say this. It's really challenging whenever somebody dies at the hands of someone else, because it should never happen. And if we put the puzzle pieces together, then either it makes sense or it somehow undoes the pain and the tragedy of it. But that doesn't happen. We think it will, but that doesn't happen. At the end of the day, we still have to grieve our loved one. And I cannot see anything that your brother did that makes me think that he deserved this or did something wrong to make this happen, or, that he had it coming. I cannot see that. I do not see that in any capacity. I am positive your brother did not commit suicide. I am also positive that this has to do with one of his friends, a recent friend, and not with him. You said one of the guys therefore was from Mexico and was never found after his initially questioned. Yeah. This connects through human trafficking through Mexico, human trafficking and drugs. That's why I'm saying you be careful, because if they killed your brother because, someone near him said something, they don't value life. And so, just Spirit is definitely saying, take this information for your own comfort and your own sense of knowing that your brother's now okay, and just focus on your safety, your well-being. And your brother is fully transitioned. He says, yeah, it was kind of a dumbass thing to do, to hang out with some of these people. But you didn't know. I didn't know until it was too late that this was that these were really bad people. It was just, we thought that these were, just guys and girls, hanging out and stuff. And your brother says, I was just too naive to believe that this could have led where it did. He says that it really does bother him that, it was written off as a suicide, because he said, I wouldn't have done that no matter how much, life sucked, or no matter how things were. I wouldn't have done that, at least not at that time. He said he definitely had some struggles, but no, he didn't. He didn't. But he also says, okay. The important thing, then he says, is that I'm fine now. I'm fine now. He does. Okay, so it wasn't. We knew he didn't do it, but they didn't investigate past 3 months. Yeah. Well, again, there's big money connected to this. There's big money connected to this. Again, not where your brother was, right? And not really with his friend. But if you followed that chain up high enough, you got to big money. You got to big things going down. Okay, so question. You or someone else like a really close friend or another sibling or a cousin, is someone about to have a baby or thinking about having a baby? Anybody gonna have a baby? Gosh, I hope not. Okay. Well, he's referencing that he's giving the the sign for baby and new life. So yeah, I would say that's a message to be careful if we're not wanting one. But it could just be someone connected to your friend group too. But he's saying that there's going to be, someone's gonna have a baby, or he's showing me the sign for someone's going to have a baby. So I would, yeah, you know what? If you don't want a baby, I would be really careful. One of my dear friends, she got a similar sign one time, and she said, absolutely no way. My boyfriend and I have been together for 10 years. It hasn't happened till now. It's not going to happen. And I told her to be 6 to 8 months, and 6 months later, she called me crying because she was pregnant. So those messages are kind of big for be careful if you don't want that. But he is talking about giving me the sign for a baby, just so you know. So just time to double up on protection, on birth control if we're not wanting a baby, because that energy is coming in. Yeah, it is. It's coming in. So be mindful of that. And usually, you can make a decision there, a free will decision about whether or not you want that, and you get to decide. Okay, let me see if there's anything else he says. Okay. Did he like to, I'm seeing fast cars. Kind of like Fast and the Furious movies, where they do those fast cars. Was he into cars? Sorry, everybody, the delay on this is crazy, how long it takes for that to pop up. No, but your dad drove a motorcycle, though. That could be it. But no, I'm seeing him surrounded by fast cars. Let me see if this is Dad. There was. Okay. So when they showed me, Spirit showed me, they showed me that movie Fast and the Furious. And I guess there was a motorcycle in one of them too, because they just showed me that scene in my head too. So yeah. Okay. And your dad's in spirit as well, correct? That this isn't a message for him, it's a message from him. Yeah, Dad. Okay. I got it now. When I connect to Dad, my head goes kind of wonky. I do. I feel kind of wired weird in my brain when I connect to your dad. But I do get a lot of peace from him as well. Okay, there you go. He's killed in a motorcycle accident. That I get a lot of peace from him, but I do get a lot of head stuff coming in as well. Oh, okay. Okay, that I just figured out the message. Okay, so in that movie, Fast and the Furious, there's this whole thing about living your life the way you want to live it. And, it's called Ride or Die. And it is, you live life to the fullest in the way you want to live it, and you go all in, and you don't hold back, because you could be in a wreck. And, all things, your dad did that. Your dad, yes, he died in a motorcycle accident. Yes, he died in that way. But all things considered, it was a way that he would have chosen to go. It was my way, he says, my way. And so that's the Fast and the Furious reference, Ride or Die. It's, it's my way. This is who I am. It's how I live, and it's how I die. All in. And And so, I do. Your dad, it's interesting. Your dad really comes across as a powerhouse now. I mean, powerhouse. Very much a powerhouse of a man. And, just fierce and focused. And if he wanted it, he was going to get it. And, no apologies, no regrets. No apologies, no regrets. I feel like that should have been tattooed on him somewhere. No apologies, no regrets. He comes through, really as a fierce protector for you. He, if someone were to try to cross you or harm you, boy, he would be Johnny on the spot, ready to, lay down some law for that. He comes through very strong, very much a powerhouse. And, he really does express just how much you mean to him, and how much, he looks out for you. And so, if you've ever wondered about that, you can know that your dad probably hasn't missed much from your life. That he says, I'm a much better dad in heaven than I was on earth. Here I don't miss out on things. I'm there for it. I'm a better dad now because I'm here. And so, he definitely comes through fierce. Your dad does. And really just kind of rocked the whole boat again. Lots of energy, lots of strength, power. The only word I can really come up with right now to describe your dad is powerhouse. Powerhouse. He wants you to know he has no regrets. He really doesn't. He lived his life the way he wanted, and there were some things that he might do differently, but that doesn't mean he has regrets. He's full on now. Your dad is. Okay. He says to tell you to always remember who has your back, with your friends, with your circle, with your tribe. Always remember who has your back. You have their back, they have yours. And if they're not part of that circle, then they're not part of that circle. You remember who your people are. You remember who has your back. And that's where you go when you need help. Because those people have your back and you have theirs, period. Loyalty seems to be pretty fierce for him, because that's what he's saying. Be loyal to those that are loyal to you. That's your people. But he comes across just as a powerhouse, an absolute powerhouse. Sometimes also, Amy, whenever I connect to someone like your brother and it's there's still holes in the story, I might dream it. I might dream that scenario, and if that happens, I'll write you immediately when I do. That's happened before, where, we've been trying to piece together the details of someone's death. Spirit will have me dream it all first person, and then I'll be able to tell you, all the pieces. So if that happens, I will reach out and let you know. But I thank you very much for sharing your brother and your dad, but I promise you your brother didn't commit suicide. And I promise you your dad is kicking ass and taking names. Pretty much. Okay. All right. Hey, Shani, I see you're back. Can we do yours real quick? Because I skipped you because you weren't in here. Okay. If you're still in here. Are you still in here? Let me find your question. And then we have 2 left, Robin and Gwen. Okay. I saw something about an insurance check. So let me find it again. Okay, is it safe and for my highest good to sign the insurance check for my ex? If so, should there be stipulations of any kind? Spirit's saying that he's going to be manipulative about it. Things aren't necessarily going to be on the up and up, but that doesn't mean that it's unsafe for you. In fact, they're saying getting this behind you will be very, very good. Getting the insurance check and everything behind you. Stipulations should be, that what's the money supposed to go for, it does go for, and stuff like that. But if what Spirit is saying is if that's going to stress you out and make you feel, pulled and tugged and whatever, then just surrender it. It's not worth pulling you out of a place of power for it. Spirit says to tell you too that, well, first I'm hearing that, your circle is about to just really get tight again, like your circle of your family and your loved ones and your soul family, and you're going to feel really safe inside that circle. But 5 weeks, 6 weeks, somewhere right there, you're going to really start seeing things pop for you. And so I suggest you have a plan, make a vision board, know what you want, because when that 5-6 week mark happens, all this stuff is going to start floating in, and you're going to be ready to, have it, to benefit from it. You are about to have an intuitive breakthrough. I mean, really, you're about to just have some gifts just split open wide. So let's say if you were on a scale of 1 to 10, you were sitting at a 4, you would expect to hit at least a 6 or a 7 coming up, by the end of this year, certainly, but you're going to start feeling it in about 5 to 6 weeks. And so don't let anything hold you back. Don't let things distract you or hold you back. I mean, you just stay focused on that prize and just moving through, because things are really going to open up. It looks like that, the door's been closed and you've been waiting to see all this movement, and it hasn't happened. And it hasn't happened because Spirit's been behind the scenes lining things up. Then all of a sudden it's going to go like this, just a wide open. So have some goals for what you want to see with this shift, even intuitive goals. I want to have mediumship better. I want to hear angels better. I want to have better shielding. Whatever it is, have it ready to go, because once this energy starts, if you're still throwing things in there, you're not going to get the full benefit. But if you have your plan ready now, when this energy starts, it's going to go whoosh, and it's going to be really, really good. So also, expect soul family to come in, and really expect good to come in. You've accumulated some good stuff, you've accumulated some good karma, and it's definitely time to let it in. Okay. And that's what they're saying. Okay. So that's what they're saying there with all the good and the karma and the gifts. Your ex still presents kind of as a Loki energy, and a Loki energy, can be a little deceitful and a little manipulative. And so the way to do that is you have no expectations. If you have no expectations, then you cannot be hurt there. Okay. And that's the way to navigate that energy, because that's what's coming in there. I do see some traveling coming in. I do see you needing to set some boundaries with family members, well-meaning family members, but don't be afraid to set those boundaries, because everything that you're setting up, like I said, we have, a few weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, everything that you set up now is going to be what flows to you for the next 6 months to a year. So set things up the way you want them to be, and really have them like bum, 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 bum. That way you've got it all lined up the way you want it to be. Okay. So I'm telling you, 5 to 6 weeks, it's going to be rock and roll. I mean, it's just going to feel like things just whoosh. So spend your time now thinking about it. Spend your time now focusing on it. There's a fabulous, are you part of my Welcome to Earth 101 group? If you're not, I need to add you if you want to be added. But I have a group called Welcome to Earth 101 where it's a spiritual community and we talk about stuff like this. But there's a meditation I posted in there. That's this 12D meditation. That is a really good meditation. It's done by, who's it by? Energetic Synthesis, I think is the name, Lisa Renee. And it's a fabulous meditation, and it really pulls in all that 12D energy. I think you'd benefit from it greatly. I think that you should do that every day. So I can send you that link, and if you want to be part of the group, we talk about all this kind of stuff that we're talking about now. But, now's the time to really focus on whatever you want, and have that in the back of your mind, because you don't want to spend your time focusing right now on things that are going wrong or things that are broken or whatever, because you're going to attract that for the next year. So really think of it that way. Whatever you're going to do for the next 6 weeks is going to be a powerful point of attraction and indicator for the next year. So we want to, be boom, 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 lining things up exactly how you want them to be, because that's where you're going with it. Marina says the meditation is terrific. I use it daily. So do I. I love it. And I channel meditations all the time. And so I write them and I record them, and, so I'm kind of picky about them, and I love this one. So what we can do is we can go back and post it in this group too for anyone who wants to have it. But that Welcome to Earth 101 group is available. It's a spiritual community. It's mine. I started it. I founded it. When I do the radio show, that's the community that I'm doing the radio show for. Anyone can join, but it's there. It's available. And so it's like-minded people. So kind of everything we've done tonight is in sync with what that community does. So it's a great community, and we really created a loving and supportive network for each other. It's far more active when the radio show's happening, but I haven't had time to do the radio show regularly, so this is the next best thing. Okay, so get ready. Time to rock and roll. The next 6 weeks, the energy of the next 6 weeks is going to influence the next year. So be really picky about your focus and about who you're letting in. So don't focus on, I lost my car keys and I'm going to be upset about it for 4 days, because release that right away. Celebrate every success for the next 6 weeks. Celebrate every victory. Celebrate every accomplishment. Celebrate every manifestation, because by celebrating them, you're creating an additional point of alignment, not just for the success itself, but also for what comes after it with the celebration. Okay? All right, so that's where you go and do the 12D meditation. I think you'll love it. I think you're absolutely going to love it. And since we already know that you have a son who's part of Archangel Michael's army, that also makes you a very good psychic anchor for him, because we need that psychic anchor for those that we love, especially if they're kind of on the front lines of ascension and holding that energy in. You could be a psychic anchor for him and pull in a lot of grounding and protective energies for your son. So, it looks great. Just focus all on what you want. You have 6 weeks that are going to really influence the rest of the time. There's something called a solar return. And the solar return is basically you would have an astrologer determine it for you. And your solar return is when you were born, they find the exact position of the sun. Then they go to near your birthday and they find where the sun was in that same position around your birthday. And that day is your actual birthday. And so 4 hours prior to the sun in that position and 4 hours after the sun in that position is called your solar return. And in those 8 hours, you are thought to have enormous amounts of power to you, because that was your entry point for the planet. Okay, that's awesome. It's kind of like that, except instead of being a solar return in 8 weeks, like this next 6 weeks is going to be really a vibrational point of alignment for you for the next year. So go get it. Go get it big time. It's time and you're ready. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I'm glad you got to be in the room for it. Okay. Robin and then Gwen. All right, Robin, let's see your questions. Where did they go? Is my grandmother in good hands now, or should I be worried about her well-being? And what information can Spirit give me about my big business plan? Do I need to worry about my relatives that live next door and above my grandmother, that they are supposed to be keeping an eye on her and will take advantage of her? Yeah, they are going to try to take advantage of her. So you need to keep an eye on that. Probably not immediately. Spirit says that they're in the grooming phase. The grooming phase is where you're, grooming someone to take advantage of them, meaning you're making them feel indebted to you and safe with you and loyal to you, so that when you do take advantage of them, they're very happy, to keep your secret or prove their loyalty or whatever. So they will absolutely at some point try to manipulate her, probably for money. Also prescriptions, I'm hearing it might be a good idea to count pills. Like when you see her, count pills and make sure that the right prescriptions are in there. I do see some issues around medication as well. So yeah, I do think that you have reason to be concerned about, someone trying to take advantage of her. I do think that's a very valid concern. Okay. Yeah, keep those lines of communication open. What I'm seeing specifically is, that happened to my grandma, and, like her son, my uncle, got her to, while she was in the hospital in a rehab facility at post-surgery, brought the car salesman and the car sales lot manager to the rehab facility so she could sign for them a car. I just remember thinking, you basically came to a nursing home to have someone sign. And that's what keeps popping through my mind, are the things that people did to her, and how they took advantage of her. So Spirit's saying, yes, there's a definite chance of that happening. If it's possible to have access to her financials, do that. The thing that I did is I signed my grandma up for online banking. And that way I had the password and I had the credentials, so I could log in and see and make sure that nothing was missing, and look for chunks of money that might have been gone. Also, same thing with her credit cards. That way I had access to it and I could do it, and that's kind of how we cut some of that down. But I do see the chance of that. And again, it's not just money. Also watch medicine, okay? I think there's a chance for some medications being taken and taken from her. So counting pills might be a good idea. Okay, Spirit said that I should stay on this path, that it is the correct path, and I'm supposed to be on, but there are some major road bumps happening in regards to my big business plan. Should I approach it differently or be patient? How about both? Okay, the big business plan still looks solid, but sometimes there are karmic obstacles, and sometimes the obstacles aren't even ours. They belong to someone else, but they still influence us because they're part of it. Okay? Okay. Let me see what you wrote. My parents and aunt have access to all of her bank accounts, and they get medicine for her. She made the comment that some was missing. Yeah. I think that those two things are being siphoned off of, money and pills. If it got bad enough, you could contact Adult Protective Services and see if they would intervene, and that would be my suggestion, because that's a difficult political thing to be in. Yeah, it's a difficult political thing. Okay, back to the business plan. They're going to happen. Roll with them and keep listening to Spirit. I think the overall end of your big business plan is still where you're going. It's going to be there. Remember too that when Spirit's trying to help us, they see things that we don't. Okay? And so here's an example. Let's say that you called me and you said, okay, Leslie, what did the angels say? I applied for a job on Thursday. Am I going to get it? And they always work from highest good. And so they tell me, no, she's not. Okay? And I tell you. And that makes you so upset that you do something differently. Maybe you call and check on interviews, or you submit a follow-up letter, or it changes your behavior because you were told no. It makes you do something additional. It makes you send another email, or call, or send in another application. Whatever that makes you do, that then is what allows you to get the job. So if they would have said, yes, she's going to get the job when you asked, you wouldn't have, because you hadn't done that other step yet. The only reason you did that other step was because you were angry because they told you no. And so when Spirit gives us messages, they have that in mind. Not just telling us what's going to happen, but leading us.
okay, leading us to where we're going. So sometimes they lead us to an obstacle because the obstacle is what makes us change what we're doing, and then changing what we're doing then becomes how we get there. So I hope that makes sense. So you're being led to it. Okay, you're being led to it either way, but they have to lead you to it in the way that gets you there. And sometimes part of that is feeling frustrated and stuck and like it's never going to happen, because that then encourages us to make a different decision and move things differently. Okay, you said the obstacles are with the landowner. It's been weeks since contact or progress, and I'm not sure what the holdup is on his end. Absolute chaos in his personal life is what the holdup is on that end. You know, it's like right now there's so many things going on. The last thing he can think about is that frickin' land. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, not one more thing. I mean, I literally like connect to that very easily. And it's like, I can't handle anything else right now. I can't. And so you said, yes, it does. We've met obstacles on our end, which has made us come up with another game. That's right. So Spirit is always doing it that way. So it's hard to like really make really clear sense, but like you have someone, and this is a true story. She had tried to manifest her soulmate for about 3 years, and finally it was time. And so, you know, Spirit said, yes, you've healed enough. It's time, you know, you'll meet him this August. So August comes along and she gets invited to a wedding. Now, we know in hindsight now that the wedding, and I didn't know this at the time, but she declined to go to the wedding because the only reason she would go to the wedding was because she wanted to meet someone, but because Spirit said she was going to meet her soulmate in August, she didn't go. And the wedding was like at the beginning of August. And so the only reason to go to meet someone, Spirit says I'm meeting someone in August, so I don't have to go, so she doesn't go. Well, that's where she would have met him, right? So later when she meets him, about 2 months later, they discovered that they were both supposed to be at that wedding. And they would have met the first week in August had she gone to the wedding. So Spirit's always trying to help us not outsmart ourselves. And so, you know, the things that they give us lead us there. And so I'm continually reminded because of that. Remember that you're being led. This is your plan. It's what you're supposed to do. There's no doubt it's going to happen. That's not going to happen. So you just have to continue to take the steps to get there. The other person is just having a little bit of a crisis in life. It's so you're just going to have to give them a little time to work their stuff out. Every time I'm making notes about this new business plan or sitting alone doing research, what I need to do, I see a shadow or hear noises. Is that Spirit? Yes, of course it is Spirit, but also I do feel like you're under psychic surveillance. So I think we probably need to take some steps to protect that as well, which is probably a conversation not good for this event. But I think you know. But I do think there is some psychic surveillance going on. And I do think that extra shielding, extra protection, knocking down any interference coming through would be a good idea. You are divinely protected and you are going to do this. But what they can do is make it harder, by interfering. They can't really stop you, really, but they can make it harder and they can delay it. They can make it not as good. And so, anytime you feel, especially, shadows can just be where your intuition isn't active enough at that moment to see the light being, or it could be, a darker being. So I would trust my gut on that. Now remember to claim autonomy often. I claim my autonomy and I'm the only one allowed to make decisions for my life. I claim my autonomy and no one is allowed to mess with my path but me. I claim my autonomy. I do not give consent to be remote viewed. I claim my autonomy. I do not give consent to have someone psychically surveil me. So these types of things can help with that as well. But I have absolute confidence it's going to work out, and it's supposed to work out, and it will work out. But that this is Spirit just guiding you through the steps to get you there. My husband and I have talked about that, and we have a conversation. We then get suggestions on our phone, either email, Facebook. It's always a dark shadow. Yeah, I do too, by the way, all the time. In fact, just the other day, I had said, in Massachusetts last year, my soul sister bought Etsy nail polish.
And I said, well, I had never bought Etsy nail polish before. I wonder if it was any good. And then when we got back to her house, an hour later, the sponsored ads on my Facebook were for Etsy nail polish. And it happened just earlier in the week. My daughter was talking about a very specific backpack that you have to buy overseas, not even available in the US. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's like from the Netherlands or something. She talked about it. She asked me about getting one, and not even an hour later, the sponsored ads on my Facebook were for that backpack. So yes, you know, your smartphones are always listening. Your computers are always listening. If you have an Alexa, or whatever those other ones are called, they're always listening. And I'm not a fan of those things. But, you know, I do think there's psychic surveillance going on. So I would definitely make it, you know, speak that you do not have permission. I do not give consent. You know, I may not be remote viewed. I do not give consent to be remote viewed. Because if we're not specifically holding our autonomy, then that's when we can be, you know, have it violated in those ways. But it's going to happen. And you're being led. So trust that, even if it looks crazy. And sometimes the craziness ends up being greatly to our benefit. You know, that whatever's going on in the landowner's life is really crazy right now. And they just cannot handle one more thing. So that might even be well for you in 2 weeks when they're ready to deal with this. They're so ready to deal with it, they're ready for even a better price for you because they just want out from underneath some of this stuff. And so that's what that looks like. Okay? But just keep the faith, keep walking it because you've got it. I mean, it really is going to be okay. And you'll be pleasantly surprised. But it's not your end right now. It's their end's interference, but you are being surveilled. All right? Okay, and we'll have a talk about the, you know, that autonomy and surveillance and what that psychic attack kind of stuff looks like. Okay? All right, thank you very much. And Gwen, we're down to our last one of the evening, I believe, unless I missed somebody. If so, speak up quickly. Okay, Gwen, let me find your question here. Scrolling. Okay, hold on, I'm not finding it. Maybe I need to click here. Okay, Gwen, are you with us? Can you pop in and say here or hi or something? There you are. Okay, I found your question. Gwen, are you in the room? I'm here. Awesome. All right. My daughter's been having nightmares that her husband has to wake her up because she's screaming. All she can ever remember is that someone is trying to kill her. Can you see what's happening that is so frightening for her? Also, seems like I am really having to fight to keep myself positive and put one foot in front of the other. I have been reading a lot just to escape. Do the spirit guides have any idea of how I can lose this negativity? First, I want to tell you that a lot of people are experiencing that negativity right now, so it's not just you. And I mean, it's pretty bad, and I never want to feed it how bad, you know, I don't want to feed the negativity, and I don't want to draw attention to the negativity. But let me just tell you that I have 4 friends right now that I'm kind of on suicide watch for, because I know I can hear their thoughts, and I can hear them struggling just to stay on this planet. I can hear it. I can feel their desperation. I can feel their desperation wanting to leave. I mean, it's intense right now, and it has been for the last couple of weeks. So it's hitting a lot of people, not just you. So I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but I do want to emphasize it's not just you. A lot of people are feeling that level of intensity. You know, this last energy push that's coming up is bringing all the brokenness to the surface. You know, for someone like me, most of my brokenness is in my physical body. So that means my body goes into healing crisis. For someone who has had an emotionally difficult life, it brings that to the surface. So you're having to deal with your heart's brokenness. And so that is happening, you know, straight across the board. In fact, true story, and I'm going to be real vague so I don't ruin someone's privacy here, but earlier today, I went to the store and I kept hearing spirits say, keep going down, don't check out here, keep going down. And I thought they were leading me to a shorter line because it was kind of in a hurry. they weren't. But I kept hearing, keep going down, keep going down, keep going down. And I finally did. And I turned the corner and there was a friend of mine that I've been kind of worried about. I was like, oh my gosh, hey, how are you? And I hugged her. Anyway, I'm unloading my things and I hear Spirit say, pay for her purchase. And I'm like, well, how much did she get? That's kind of scary. And I look over and it wasn't much. It was like $41. And so they said, you have to pay for her purchase. So I'm like, okay, I just do what the voices in my head tell me. So I take out my debit card and I swipe it while she's turned around getting in her purse to get hers out. So I pay for her purchase. And she just immediately burst into tears, and confided in me that she had been contemplating suicide that day and had decided to come to the store to buy some food to see if that made her feel better, but she really didn't have the money to do it. So the financial part of it was making it more stressful, and that she had prayed that there would be an intervention, that somehow someone would show her that she mattered and that she should live. And, that's when I showed up and swiped my card. It was a little thing for me, but it was a very big thing for her. That's the mentality some people are in right now. I mean, they're truly, truly, truly struggling with some horrible brokenness. And so, for a reminder for all of us, what seemed like a simple thing to me and not something that I really thought was that big of a deal was a huge deal for someone else. So, remember that, because when you're called to be the light worker, you're the light worker. All right. Okay. So with that being said, it's time to double up on your soul nutrition. It's time to, make sure you're starting your day with something inspirational. Make sure you're starting your day by listening to something that makes you feel good, makes you feel hopeful, makes you feel inspired. Cut out the news. Don't listen to that stuff. And if someone on your Facebook news feed just continually, moment after moment after moment posts horrible, negative things, unfollow them. You can keep your friend connection to them and just hit unfollow, and you're still friends, but, there's no, you don't see their stuff anymore. Really take a breather here and give yourself the time and space. I mean, you have so much stress around you all the time that it's no wonder. I mean, it really is no wonder that this is happening. Take some time for you, go get a massage, go get reflexology, do something that makes you feel good about you. Really, and don't forget to speak to your husband, talk to him in spirit and tell him, and just speak your heart to him and let him try to help you from that other side. But you're not alone. I mean it. I describe this time, I can't think of a time where the energy has been more intense than it is right now. And I mean that very much. And I'm always one of those people, it's like, oh, the energy's intense. No, this is completely a whole new ball game. I said at the beginning, we have the full moon, we have the lunar eclipse, we have the solar eclipse, we have the Lion's Gate, we have Mercury retrograde, all hitting right now. And of course, most of these things, even though they're hitting right now, the shadows of them started weeks ago. So you're not alone. Everyone is feeling it. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, but absolutely feed your soul. Even if you just go get one of those chicken soup for the soul books, where you read one chapter a day, look for good, look for miracles, look for things working out and being happy. And know, most of all, know you're not alone. Know that right now, I could look at my friends list and say at least 40% are in that same place that you are. They're really struggling with the negativity. They're really struggling with it. And I mean, just the other day, I noticed a couple of my Facebook friends were posting stuff like, I don't know what I did to deserve to be so lonely and miserable in life. I must have been such a bad person and stuff like that. It's not karmic right now, guys. It's energetic. So it's not that you deserve it. It's not that you need it. It's this energy. It's showing us where we're broken and where we need to heal. I will also go and encourage you. If you're not part of the My Light Worker Institute support network, join. There are people in there that have been trained by me that are there to offer support when someone's struggling. So it's not a big group right now. I certainly hope it becomes a much bigger group, but that's a place where you can go when you're needing words of encouragement.
that place right there. Go to that group and say, having a bad day could really use some encouragement, and let others encourage you. You're always the encourager for everyone around you. So let others encourage you. And the My Light Worker Institute support group, support forum, that's what it's there for. It's there for days where you just need someone to tell you, hey, you matter, I love you, and now go have a great day. That's why it exists. So let it fulfill that purpose for you. It's available for anyone. And, most of the people in there in the leadership roles, well, all of them probably, were trained by me. They were my clients or my friends or, my people I trained. So I trust them. You go to support forum and you really don't know who's there or what kind of support they're going to be offering. These are people I know and I trust. So, they're there. Reach out, let them help you. Okay. All right. And really just give yourself the time and space and nurture. I keep hearing nurture, 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 nurture. So really nurture yourself right now. Okay. Like really just pull in all that nurture and love and let it in for yourself. Okay, so let's see what Alyssa's got going on. She's been having nightmares. Her husband wakes her up. She's screaming. I think she needs to, if she's open to it, smudge her bedroom with sage. Buy a sage bundle and light it and smudge that bedroom. I think she's got an earthbound spirit hanging around her that she is, like when she goes to sleep, she's dreaming what happened to them because they're hanging around her. So it's, it's energy is energy. It's kind of like dumping out 2 glasses of water and then telling them, you're separate water now, don't touch. Well, right. The energy the water just does this. And of course it's going to touch. And that's exactly what happens with energy whenever we have a spirit around us. It's, if they're too close, we kind of, we go from this to this, and that's what's happening. I think she has an earthbound spirit around her. And so the dreams that she's having are the nightmares and the memories of that earthbound spirit. So saging, using sage, smudging her bedroom would be a great idea. There are also some crystals you can put in for protection. Rose quartz, the pink quartz would be a really good one to choose as well. And that will help with that energy and some of that negativity. But I don't think the dreams are hers. I think it's an energy that she's picking up or being put on her for whatever reason. I think that's the thing that's influencing her. So it seems to be quite intense. I can see that she's really frightened. It is really intense. So she really does need to get rid of that earthbound. Now, those books I was recommending to Marina earlier might be interesting for you too. Soul Rescue, Spirit Release, because that's essentially what needs to happen. You can send this soul away without going through all the work of trying to help it transition or transcend into heaven. But then it just becomes somebody else's problem. It might be better off just to go ahead and try to help this soul transcend. The woman I see, she's probably in her late 40s, maybe 50s, but I'm going to go with 40s. And she's got really long, dark black hair. She just, every guy she ever picked was a wife beater. they just all hit her. And she's hanging around your daughter, and your daughter's picking up on that energy, because Alyssa's such an empath anyway. So she's picking up on that energy. So she's really picking up on that woman's fear, and then it's dreaming at first person like it's her, like she's the one who is having that happen. Okay. So yeah, there's a whole lot of energy there, whole lot. And so, a good smudging, a plant in the bedroom also absorbs negative energy. A glass, now you don't want to drink it, but you can put a glass of water like this by the bed. I always put salt in it. That way the absorption effect lifts up, and it reminds me not to drink it. But you can put a glass of water by the bed and let it absorb that energy as well. You could put a crystal in the bed, but really she does need to smudge. So, and if she's, if you don't want to get a sage stick and light it and do that, you can get the essential oil sage
and just mix up a spray and spray it around the room, and that will clear it as well. But the Native Americans used sage to really clear out that negative energy, and that's what it is. And she needs to get all that out of her bedroom space, especially because in the bedroom space it's so much worse than where it is anywhere else, because your bedroom space is where you're most vulnerable, because that's where you relax and that's where you are. But that's what's going on, is she has that earthbound spirit hanging around her. And so, yes, that would be great to have Kara help with all of that. And then, hopefully she gets this one out, then the dreams will stop. And if you keep the space clear, it makes it harder for something else to get in and push like that, and push like that. But I couldn't move on without, telling you that Larry pops in, chimes in, and just it just always wants you to know that he's always there, always with you, always with you. He says to tell you that you're working too hard, that you need some downtime and you need some break time, that you're working too hard. He thinks, his opinion is that you're working too hard and you need a break. I think he's probably right on that, but that's his suggestion. Okay. All right, everybody. Sorry, I cannot seem to do these in 2 hours anymore. I guess I need to give up and just start calling them 3-hour sessions. But no one wants to stay up that late, right? So I want to express my gratitude for you, coming to the gallery, having your session. I like doing these. I've discovered I'm going to try to do one a month. I'll post it out on Facebook, so I won't have another one until probably the first week in September. But I want to say thank you. I hope you got what you wanted. I hope you got what you needed. I hope who you wanted came through. The video, so it'll be in this event now, and I don't know when Facebook actually takes it off, but at some point I will go in and snag it and then put it on YouTube, and then I will post the YouTube link in here. That way everybody can have access to the YouTube link. So and then on YouTube it'll live forever, because they don't delete things, so it'll be there as long as you need it to be. So anyway, I thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. Thank you for trusting me with your messages from Spirit, and I will see you all soon. Namaste, everybody.